Have you ever noticed how certain sounds or sights can instantly bring back memories or even trigger a physical reaction? That's the magic of classical conditioning, a powerful form of learning that happens almost without us realizing it. Classical conditioning is all about learning through association. The core idea is simple. When a neutral stimulus is paired repeatedly with a meaningful stimulus, it eventually produces a learned response all on its own. Let's break it down. There are four main parts. First, the unconditioned stimulus, something that naturally produces a response like food. Unconditioned response, the natural reflex such as salivating when you see or smell food. The conditioned stimulus starts off as a neutral, maybe it's the sound of a bell, but after it's paired with food over and over, the bell alone starts to trigger a reaction. And that learned reaction is called the conditioned response, salivating just at the sound of the bell. Now, the three main stages that shows how does classical conditioning actually work. Before conditioning, the bell rings but nothing happens. Food is presented and naturally salivation follows. During conditioning, the bell and food are paired together. The bell rings just as the food appears and the dog salivates. After conditioning, something remarkable happens. Now, the bell alone is enough to make the dog salivate. The bell has become the conditioned stimulus, and salivation is the conditioned response. There are some fascinating concepts at work here. Stimulus generalization means that stimuli similar to the conditioned stimulus, like a tone or a buzzer, can also trigger the same response. Discrimination is when the learner responds only to a specific conditioned stimulus. Extinctions happen if the conditioned stimulus is presented repeatedly without the unconditioned stimulus. The learned response fade away. And the spontaneous recovery is when, after a rest, the conditioned response comes back at least for a little while. Let's take a look at classic example Pavlov's dog experiment. Pavlov notices that dog would salivate not just at food but even at the sight of a lab coat, an accidental discovery. He then paired the sound of the bell with the presentation of the food. After a while, the dog started salivating at the sound of the bell alone. The bell became the conditioned stimulus and the salivation became the conditioned response. But classical conditioning, it's not just for the lab. It helps explain how phobias develop, why certain triggers can cause symptoms of PTSD, and how advertising use jingles and mascots